Can you please state your name?
Pates.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions about the 9/11 attacks that happened 15 years ago. How old were you when the attacks took place?
23.
Where and what were you doing?
I was in Mexico and I was watching the news.
How did you find out about the attacks?
I was watching the news at the time that it happened.
When did you realize it was a terrorist attack?
At first, it was considered an accident when the first plane crashed into the first tower. When the second plane crashed into the second tower, then that's when it was considered a terrorist attack, which was a little bit later during the news as it was live.
What emotions and thoughts were going through your mind as you learned about the attacks?
Who could possibly have done that, and why?
Were you afraid for your safety or the safety of your family?
No,
Why?
because everybody was in Mexico at the time.
What is your most vivid memory of the day?
Disbelief.
Disbelief at what?
At the events going through.
Do you know someone who was personally impacted in the attacks?
I believe we were all impacted by the attacks some way or another.
Do you know someone who was impacted?
Yes.
How did the government react to the attacks?
At that time, there was talk about closing the borders, of degrees of safety protocols to follow in the event of another attack.
How did the nation react to the attacks?
Shock, disbelief.
Do you agree with the decision to invade Afghanistan after the attacks?
No.
Why?
I believe it was done too quickly for us to have enough intelligence on the country.
Do you agree with the decision to invade Iraq after the attacks?
Yes.
Why do you agree?
Because I believe Iraq was directly responsible for the attacks as opposed to Afghanistan back then.
Do you believe the government has done enough to keep us safe from terrorism today?
No.
Why do you believe that?
I believe other safety measures could be taken.
Has the September 11 attacks changed you?
They have changed everyone and how we perceive as safety.
How did the September 11 attacks change our country and the world?
Before the September 11 attacks, I believe we all had another notion of safety. We believed as a nation that we could not be touched or harmed. After that, I believe everybody felt a lot more vulnerable at the time, and still.
Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome.